You know that wellness goal you set at the start of the year? It's not too late to stick with it and make your future self proud, especially with the all-in-one nutrition shake from Kachava. With 25 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, greens, adaptogens, and more. No fillers, no nonsense, just the highest quality ingredients. Stick with your wellness goals. Go to kachava.com and use code FITNESS for 15% off. That's KACHAVA.com, code FITNESS.
With Car Guru's Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and Car Guru's Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder Car Guru's is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com. CarGurus.com.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's shaking, everybody? Friday Face-Off episode here. 10 minutes are on the clock. Vex and I are going to bat around a topic that relates to the hockey world. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but we agree way more than we disagree. But on this one, I got a fun one for you, Vex. You ready?
Ooh, let's hear it.
Let's talk about, and I'm specifically talking in youth hockey here. Let's talk about the head coach, assistant coach relationship. And we'll kind of go about it in both ways because this is listener question here. So guys, again, appreciate so much when you guys reach out to us on social media, like DM us about these things. Like it's awesome because we'd love to answer your questions and we can do that in the setting here. So, couple different things we'll talk about. Number one, from the head coach standpoint, and then number two, from the assistant coach standpoint. As a head coach, how do you feel is best to use your assistant coaches in youth hockey? Like if you got the big cheese hat on, what are things that head coaches can do to help their assistant coaches develop, I'll just leave it as an open-ended question there. Go.
Assistant coaches.
So what would you do as a head coach to involve your assistant coaches, whatever the relationship is going to be? Like, how would you use them, utilize them?
I always assistant coach. I that's my favorite role personally. I feel like, I don't know. I always like it that the head coach is more macro and assistant coaches can be more micro. The head coach during a practice, he's running everything. He's overseeing it from the top. Whereas if he's given, for instance, in practice, right, he's running the practice and he's making sure that the flow and the tempo and the timing of the drills and how long are we doing each drill, those are the things that are going on in his head. So he's not going to be able to do all those things. And then also see, Johnny could have had better detail with his stick pressure at 32 seconds into that drill. For me, that's where your assistant coaches, they got to be like owls. Their eyes are, they're everywhere. They're looking all over the ice for every little detail. Well, hey, how can I jump in and coach what he just did to be better? Or you see something great that's like a little detail, and maybe it's a guy who hasn't been playing a lot, and you know that he's maybe a little bit down. Here's where your assistant coach can go over to him after the play and pump that guy's tires. Hey, Davey, I saw that little bump pass you made there, and you screened the guy and you gave him extra time. That's what we need out of you. That's what we're looking for. That's how you're getting yourself back into the lineup. I think that the head coaches, it's not always head coaches bad cop and assistant coaches are good cop, but I think that's an easy metaphor for coaches to understand. The head coach can be a little bit more stern, a little bit more straight-faced, and the assistant coaches are the buddy. They're more there to pick up the player. They're there to know the right things to say to them when they need it, because the head coach, again, is more busy thinking about the whole group and what's going on in the locker room, in the meeting room, in the video room, on the ice. Assistant coaches can be more micro, and I think attacking from that angle. And if you have both of those working together and you're having meetings about, hey, I really want you to give us some special attention to these 5 guys because last week, I could tell that they needed it. So today, focus on those guys as well as do whatever else you're seeing on the ice. I think that kind of is a recipe for a really, really productive team environment.
Yeah, I love that. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. The only thing I'll say is, like, Head coaches and assistant coaches are going to be different people with different strengths. So just make sure you're leaning into those strengths as well. Right. So like, that doesn't mean you can't learn or do things differently, get outside your comfort zone. But just lean into the strengths. And and the other thing I'll say too, is like, totally agree about the flow of practice and stuff. But I think a head coach should also do the micro and should allow their assistant coach to do the macro, control the flow of practice, blow the whistle, all that stuff. So you as a head coach can get in and you could teach and you hold people accountable on the ice for little details and stuff like that. So don't just be the person and then your assistant coach is that person. Like you should, and again, if you want to be a good hockey team, like you got to develop your assistant coaches too. You got to think of them as, hey, at some point they're probably going to be head, especially if it's a younger coach, they're going to want to be a head coach at some juncture. And so helping them to develop the skills on the macro, letting them go in and giving pregame talks or pre-practice talks, letting them lead different team building activities, letting them lead practice, as far as the drills and everything like that. So just keeping mindful of that, I think too. Let's go to the other side now. Let's go to the assistant coaches. And I've gotten this note from multiple people throughout the years. And this is a tough one, but it's like, I'm an assistant coach in youth hockey and I really don't like what my head coach is doing as far as the way he treats the players, as far as the development plan or lack thereof, I should say. And there's so many assistant coaches who really, really care and want to do well for their team, but they feel like their head coach is not at that care level, or they do things that they don't agree with morally or ethically. So like what can an assistant coach do if they are not on the same page as their head coach? What can assistant coach do if they, feel like they want to confront their head coach about different things, but maybe they don't know how to or feel comfortable doing that? Go.
That's got to be tough. But I have had those situations when I was coaching. I mean, for me, anytime I have to have tough conversations like that, it has really helped me to go into a meeting like that and have things written down, just bullet points. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. Because you get in those meetings and you don't want to step on toes. You don't want to upset the head coach in a way where, you're coming down on, oh, hey, like that forecheck's not working, Johnny. We got to change this. And he's like, no, we're doing this because I'm the head coach. I think that coming in with some bullet point notes will really help. And then just like being honest, just like, hey, like I've seen that this is going on. What are your thoughts on this? And is that something that maybe we could try and practice? Or, hey, can I run this drill? What do you think if I run this drill today? Because I really want to focus on these things here. And maybe those are the things that your coach is not focusing on, and the way that you approach it and the words you use and how you say, hey, what if I tried this? Would you let me run this today? And let's see how it goes. I don't know. That's kind of how I've approached it in the past.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's good. I think a couple different things. Number one is when you go in to speak to that person, if you have, differences with them, be a good listener first. Be a good listener, seek to understand, not to be understood. I think that's really important. And so like, if you go into a hard conversation like that, like pointing fingers and say, hey, this isn't working, you need to do things, blah, blah, blah. So let's take your example. Let's say you don't like what's going on in the forecheck. Going and say, hey, like, can you just explain to me the forecheck a little bit more? I want to make sure that I'm teaching the right things so we can get better, and then as the conversation goes, it's like, oh, okay, well, what if we tried this? What if we tried this again? So like you're going in and you're kind of asking for clarity, asking for clarification, asking for what their perspective is rather than like, and then by asking questions, you might get your answer without even having to have a hard conversation, And so I think that's really important. And then the other thing too, it kind of goes along with stuff that you were saying, but like, I think in any hard conversation, especially when you're going to poke and prod or ask, it's go in with solutions, not just venting about problems. Right. So like, hey, let's take your example. And you talk about, hey, like our forecheck sucks. What are we doing? Like, that's not the way to do it. That's just venting a problem. Say, hey, can you talk to me about the forecheck? And then what if we did this? You have something in your mind that's a solution that might be able to help the problem that you're having. Like the more the older I get, the more I'm kind of like, geez Louise, like I don't like people who just are negative and always want to talk about problems. Like talk to me about how we can make the problem better and what your solution is, so I don't have to take brain power. Great, then you go do it. And then I have other things going on that I don't have the brain power to be able to really think so much about it. Unless it's like really obviously important. But so I think that like go in asking questions, seek to understand first before seek to be understood, and really just try to have a back and forth conversation. And at the end of the day, I feel like when I have had differences with people in whatever capacity, when you don't let it linger, like just have it. Like so many times you go in to have those conversations, and the conversations are way easier and way better than how you draw it up in your head, And so as long as you're doing it in a respectful way, you can come to conclusions and you can come to answers and come to a collaborative understanding on things. But you gotta take the step in, and you have to initiate it.
Have to. And just, something I talk to all my guys about that I think would help the situation is I always talk to my guys about when you're going in to speak to coach about not playing, being scratched, like whatever it is. It's not what you're saying or what you want to say. You have to think about, who am I talking to and how are they going to respond? So like, what words can I use so that they get the message in the way that they see things? So it's not like you go in and you're like, why am I not on the power play? No coach is going to want to hear that from you. And why am I not on first line? No. Coach, are there things that I can be working on in practice that will help me to get back on the power play? Like, what can I do that can fill a role that will help this team have a better power play that I can work on after practice? Right away, coach knows this guy wants to be back on the power play, but you didn't say that. You didn't say, why am I not on the power play? Right. So it's how you structure the way that you're talking to somebody like that in these difficult situations that will either put them on their heels or they'll want to engage in that conversation and then figure it out.
Love that. Awesome advice. Well, another listener question, guys. Thank you. Keep them coming. You got thoughts, you got questions, whether you're a parent, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, you're an administrator of a youth program, whatever it is. If you want us to talk about some of the stuff that's on your mind, like we're happy to do it. And so reach out, DM us, email, whatever, send what is it? A clay pigeon? No, not a clay pigeon. Send they put the message in the pigeon and then the pigeon. Yeah. All right, I'm done. Time's up. Share the show.
Share it.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.